Coming into it, I didn't really have any expectations. I wasn't sure what the end result was going to be. But ultimately, it ended up being something that I feel like it's drawn me closer to the Lord.
I've never been able to live with the Lord, to have Him walk with me each and every day, and for me to turn to Him when I was in trouble, or when I was confused, or when I was in pain. I was presented with a little bit of a challenge in pancreatic cancer in 2014, so a lot of things in my life were pretty unsure. And I had a great experience one morning on the way to chemotherapy where I was driving in and the sun was coming up, and I, for the first time in my life, felt the presence of the Lord with me, with His hand on my shoulder.
God had always been chasing after me, and I just never really realized how much He chased after me. And when He brought Randy into my life, I feel like it was one of those situations where the Lord was saying, hey, you've done things your way for the longest time, and I really need you to do things my way, and so I'm going to keep chasing after you. And I felt it more and more as Randy would say, hey, I've taken this course, it's made a difference in my life, I really think you would benefit from it, please give it a try.
It had a great appeal to me that I could get closer to the Lord, I could be more comfortable with who I was, that I could be around people who were looking for the same things in life that I was.
Took some coaxing because I didn't want to be vulnerable and talk about my sins in front of people that I didn't know. But certainly once I got to the class, I realized that it was a safe place, and I knew that everything was going to stay amongst the group, and that obviously I wasn't the only one that had sins that needed to be forgiven.
And that's how we got to UTK. But from then on, it's a different story. It's more of a story about mission work that we decided that we'd like to do.
We were trying to come up with a way that we could serve together. At the time, we were each doing separate missional groups, and we said, what's out there that we could do together?
We were able to get connected with Dave and Linda, our mentors, and watch them as they went through a group and be a part of that and learn our skills a little bit as far as facilitation went.
I feel like it's drawn me closer to the Lord, and my understanding of Him and who I am now as a child of God.
Sometimes we think our problems are just our problems. Well, there's a lot of people that share the same kind of problems and issues in our lives. So you build this community that you're working with, and you're struggling with, and you're making progress with, and sometimes you go backwards a little bit, but it's because of that community that you're able to do it. The people in that class make the class what it is.
Knowing that I am forgiven for my sins, and that I say this over and over, that you don't have to be your past, you can just move on. And it's definitely a rebirth. Yeah. Definitely a rebirth, and that you can start a new story.
It's a good place to start with that exploration of who we are and who God has told us we are, and maybe compare the two and see if you're off course, because the only thing that really matters is that you're the child of the Most High King, right? So that's what we need to focus on, who God tells us we are, and then move on with our life the best that we can.